want to invite to your next slumber party? Jason, Freddy, Michael, or just maybe the Driller Killer?
Nighty nightmares, sleep shirts with a flair for horror. Rock it out with Freddy, chill out with Jason, and pig out with Michael. Nighty nightmares, add some spare to your next slumber party.
Announcing Nighty Nightmares sleep shirts, exclusively available at deaditesondeck.com.
Take you back. Let's rewind that old horror film. What's that in the background? Something is out of place. Someone shouldn't be there. That line is odd. That reflection is misplaced. Let's have fun finding all the mistakes in our favorite horror films. Let me take you back. Let's rewind that old horror film.
Howdy, gang. Might not have anybody in here. I thought we were going to get a storm here, and I thought I was going to be delayed or not be able to do this one tonight, but it, keeping my fingers crossed, seems to have calmed down around here, but I don't know what it's doing in other places. So people may be busy, doing other things, or they could be having a storm, or there could be other live streams going on. I get it. But the great thing about this is this live stream will be available on YouTube. And so, if you can't watch it now, you can watch it on the replay. So we're going to be doing a horror movie rewind for The Beast Within. And I'll just tell you right off, I was surprised, but I did not find hardly any goofs. I mean, there were about 4 goofs. Usually that is not the case. Usually I find a lot of goofs with the different movies. Now, either people aren't, caring enough to go and look at this movie and find goofs, or this movie was well made enough that they didn't have many goofs. But I only found 4. I found more trivia for this one actually than I did the goofs. So I just wanted to let you guys and gals know that before I got started, which I'm going to get started here in just a few minutes. Come hell or high water. Meaning if there's nobody in here, fine, I'll go ahead and do this. I have decided that, and maybe I shouldn't say this because some people latch on to that kind of stuff. And, you know, they're not very nice people because they get some kind of pleasure out of seeing somebody, say that something bothers them or it used to bother them. Um, but it did. It used to bother me that, that I used to have a lot of people come into live streams. And then as of late, I barely have anybody. But, I know I'm not the only one. And I know that it's not because I'm not putting content out there that people are, I'm not putting bad content out there. It's probably just, a variety of things. And so I have decided to quit letting that bother me and go ahead and do these live streams. And if people laugh, they laugh. They snicker behind their hand, they snicker behind their hand. And I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. I'm just saying some people do get some kind of glee at seeing people gain a little bit of popularity and then kind of fall off the map. Why, I don't know. But I'm decided that I'm going to have fun with this, whether I have 0 people or 50 people or 100 people or whatever. I've never had that many in a stream, but you know, who knows what the future may hold. But I have decided, and I decided this a long time ago, that the only reason for having a channel is not to get any kind of notoriety or really popularity of any kind. It's just to get on here and have fun. And if other people want to watch, they want to watch. If they don't, they don't. And hopefully, my viewership will continue to grow, not by leaps and bounds, but by a little bit here and there. So I just wanted to put that out there that I'm not letting it, bother me anymore. I used to, and if there are those of you out there that don't like my channel and don't like me, but are just coming around here just to see if Dana's going to say something about somebody, or if Dana is going to say poor me, you're not going to hear that. So we're going to talk about horror movies and sci-fi movies and maybe, comedies and actions and dramas and whatever, because that's what I want my channel to be. So if you're only coming in here just to see if you can catch Dana saying something she shouldn't about somebody, or crying poor me about her channel, you're not going to find that. So that's the final word I've got to say on that. So if you're only coming in here for that, you're barking up the wrong tree. So anyway, to move on to happier things, I'm going to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then we're going to get started with the movie, which is The Beast Within. I'm going to be sharing a few goofs, and by few, I mean a really few, and a little more trivia than I usually do with these movies, and then I'm going to call it a night. But I just wanted to let you know we've still got some programming coming up for the remainder of the week. They're All Messed Up, God Willing, and The Creek Don't Rise. Tomorrow night, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be talking about The Psychopath and Scream Bloody Murder and the kills in each one of those movies, because that's what They're All Messed Up is about. Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be having another Evil Dead Chicks Top 10. This is going to be Evil Dead Chicks Top 10 gore films, folks. So be sure to tune in to see which movies I'm going to be discussing for this particular edition of Evil Dead Chicks Top 10. On October the 10th, we're going to be having I'm going to be having another Evil Dead Chicks Slumber Party. This is Evil Dead Chicks Hideous Halloween Slumber Party. And hopefully a lot of us will be watching together Halloween from 1978, Halloween 2, and yeah, you guessed it, Halloween 3 with the irresistible Tom Atkins getting all the women and battling it out against a madman who wants to destroy Halloween for everybody by creating these masks that cause kids' heads to implode and snakes and spiders and other little creepy crawlies to come out of their head. Okay, so not Michael Myers, but a totally different story, courtesy of John Carpenter there, folks. All right, so we've also got a Movie Munchies coming up. I've got a Movie Munchies coming up on October the 26th, the Sunday before Halloween, folks. And they are pre-recorded. The Movie Munchies are no longer live, so look forward to the Movie Munchies for Ozzy's October Burrito to drop on October 26th at some point. Also, I know that I owe you guys and gals some, I owe y'all some Highway to Hell action. So me and Steve in the last few months or weeks or whatever have went to see Weapons. We also went to see Conjuring Last Rites. And this weekend, we're going to see The Long Walk based on the Stephen King story, folks. So hopefully I can get all three of those Highway to Hells up at some point this weekend. And then it'll be a triple play, won't it? For those of you that like those. I have a poll up right now for the next upcoming watch along. I haven't looked at it today to see if Videodrome is still in the lead, and it is still in the lead. We've got 3 different body horror movies by who I consider to be the king of body horror, director David Cronenberg. And we have The Fly from 1986, Shivers, and Videodrome on the poll. Videodrome is still in the lead with 42% of the votes. The Fly is second with 38% of the votes, and Shivers is trailing in third place with 21% of the votes. There have been 24 people that have voted in the poll. So if you want to have a say-so on what the next watch-along film is going to be, make sure you vote while you still can. This is for the Saturday, October 4th watch-along. All right. I also have a giveaway going on, a Halloween movie pack giveaway. This is for new subscribers only. And I have 3 different 5 movie packs to give out or give away. These are not sealed movies. They are movies that have been previously played, but they play excellently, I guess if that's a word. They are all Blu-rays, no DVDs, no 4Ks. So if you want to enter, make sure that you've got the setup that allows you to, play Blu-rays, which you don't need as much as you do for 4Ks. So, and if you want to know what the movies are, go back and watch some of my live streams and stuff, because on a couple of them, I've actually showed what the movies are. Now, you don't get to pick your prize pack, but if you want to know what some of the movies are in the prize packs, you can check out those previous streams I did, okay? And yes, this is only for new subscribers. And how do you enter? Well, first of all, you need to subscribe. And you need to be able, or I need to be able to see what your screen name is that you subscribed under. I know some people don't like people to know who they subscribe to. But folks, if you do that, I'm not going to be able to double check and see who's actually subscribed and be able to check and see, well, this person said they subscribe. Let me go and check their screen name or their channel handle. Also, you need to make sure the screen name or channel handle that you subscribe under is the same one that you put in the comments under the video for the giveaway, okay? Don't want any confusion there because I know people sometimes have multiple channels, right? All right. So that is going on from now until October 31st, Halloween at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And then come November 1st, I'm going to do a live stream where I'm actually going to do a drawing. I'm going to draw 3 names out there if I get anybody. So far, nobody's taken me up on this. I'm a little disappointed because if it was me, I would want to get in on a chance to get one of these movie prize packs. But if nobody shows any interest, then I'll keep the movies around and maybe we'll do another giveaway at a later time, which is a great segue into me letting you guys and gals know that there are several different ways that you can support me and the channel, and it won't cost you a dime. One way is by subscribing, and now is a great time to subscribe because you can enter to win one of those 3 5-movie packs for Halloween. Well, just after Halloween, and then of course I have to ship it to you. So, but just keep that in mind. You can also subscribe and not enter. If you don't want to enter and you just want to subscribe, that's perfectly fine. But now is a fantastic time to subscribe because you also can get a chance to win something. You can hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content that I've got coming out. And you can also hit the like button for anything that you particularly enjoyed or loved. And if you liked everything, hey, hit the like button on everything, because all of those things, folks, helps me get up in the algorithms of YouTube. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's something that makes you more visible to more people, apparently. So, and also I'm getting, I'm almost afraid to say this because every time I say something, 2 or 3 people unsubscribe or YouTube screws around with me or something. But every time I tell how many people I have subscribed right now, some people seem to go away or YouTube tries to humble me or something. I don't know. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying that right now I have 985 subscribers. I'm 15 away from my next milestone that I want to reach of 1,000 subscribers. I know that may not sound like a big deal to anybody or everybody out there, and maybe not anybody, but it's something that I want to reach for. And then once I reach that, I'll, set another goal for myself. So if we can get me to 1,000 subscribers, me and Candace, probably on an upcoming episode of Friday Foolish, will do some really cool cosplay for you guys and gals. And I am going to be Cheryl from The Evil Dead, and Candace is going to be Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. So if you want to see us do that really cool cosplay, I'm 15 away right now, folks. 15 away from the 1,000. Okay. So you can also let friends and family members know about my channel that you think might be interested in the channel and the content I'm putting out. And I'm going to do y'all a solid, and I'm going to actually put my channel handle in there. And the last thing I want to talk about is the Deadites on Deck horror shop at deaditesondeck.com. In fact, I'll put it in there. I'll put the URL to the shop in the chat for you guys and gals. If you can remember the name of my YouTube channel, you surely can remember the name of my shop. They're kind of one and the same. At deaditesondeck.com, tell them Poe sent you. Poe is, of course, the official mascot of the Deadites on Deck horror shop. Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel is the official mascot of the Deadites on Deck YouTube channel. And RJ, the Friendly Monster, is, of course, the official mascot of Movie Munchies. Okay. I've got 3 different mascots. I know that's a lot of mascots, but we got a lot of cool designs and items at deaditesondeck.com. You should head on over and see what we've got. And there's more coming soon, folks. So we've got Pyro plushies and Booga Booga bears and t-shirts and hats and mouse pads and got so many things, I forget some of them. We got scented candles and blended teas. And if you're not a horror fan, or even if you are a horror fan and you've looked at my designs, you're like, gee, now you got a lot of cool designs, but you don't have exactly what I want. Hey, guys, gals, there's a handy dandy form on the homepage of the shop site where you can tell me what it is you so desire, and I'll try to make it a reality for you, okay? Also, if you are in need of some logos to be put on shirts, hats, mouse pads, maybe, maybe even a candle, or maybe you got a blended tea idea, I don't know, but bring that all to me using the handy dandy form on the homepage of the shop site. I'm not going to steal your ideas, they will be your ideas. I'm not going to steal them and use them for the shop, but if you want something custom made and you can tell me what you want, I'll be glad to try to make that a reality for you. And also, if you're wanting logos for a business or a side business that you have, or a business or side business that a friend or family member has, and you want to buy, you say, I want 20 shirts with this logo on it, Dana. I'll give you a discount on that. And I give you a flat rate of $6 shipping, no matter if you buy 1 item, 10 items, 20 items, 50 items, whatever. Where else can you get that? I don't know too many places that you can get that flat rate of shipping, folks. So I'm offering all these things to you at, I think, pretty reasonable prices. So head on over to deadicesondeck.com and see what we have. If you don't find what you like, hey, hit me up on that form on the homepage of the shop site and let me know what it is that you need or want. All right. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started talking about some goofs and trivia for The Beast Within, which is the sensitive story of a young boy having some changes in his body, but not those kind of changes. He's actually changing into a giant cicada because his mama was attacked by a cicada creature 17 years ago. So, all right. So let's get to the goose. And like I said earlier, there's not too many of these goofs here. So during the scene in the kitchen, when Michael is telling Amanda to leave, there's a shotgun that keeps appearing and disappearing behind them that's leaning in front of the window. Even after Amanda puts her bra on before leaving the house, when she's later attacked in the woods, she has no bra on at all. So, oops, goof there. And after Michael tells Amanda to get dressed and flee town, she is seen putting on her bra twice. So that makes absolutely no sense when she doesn't have a bra on at all near the end of the movie when she's tied. And then there's a little audio and visual unsynchronized. So when Michael wakes up in the hospital after his nightmare, about 13 minutes and 33 seconds into the film, the life signs monitor next to his head is flatlined, as though it's not hooked up, or he's dead, I guess. But obviously he's not dead. But an intermittent beep can still be heard, even though it appears that it's not running at all. All right, so the rest of this is going to be trivia, folks. So enjoy this trivia here. So Paul Clemens, who plays Michael in the film, has described the scene in the kitchen with Logan Ramsey, who plays Edwin, as the most difficult scene to film in his entire career. And that was because Ramsey kept going off script, and Clemens found it practically impossible not to laugh at his various ad libs. Michael's x-rays, and I did not know this, Michael's x-rays were actually x-rays of the actor Paul Clemens. Strips of metal were applied to Clemens to create the illusion of a subcutaneous anomaly. Okay. The film, of course, was a lot gorier than the final cut that was shown theatrically due to the MPAA. Can't talk. Sorry, folks. But I do believe if you watch this on a Blu ray or DVD, possibly, that it is the uncut version. But the theatrical version was, of course, excised due to demands made by the MPAA. The names Kerwin and Dexter Ward are characters from the horror novel The Case of Charles Dexter Ward by Howard Phillips H.P. Lovecraft. I didn't know that either, folks. I found that really interesting. Writer Tom Holland felt that the transformation scene the public was sold on was not handled properly. He felt that director Philippe Mora lingered too much on Paul Clemens and didn't cut away to see the reaction shots by the other actors in the room, which would have made the effect a lot more shocking than it really was. And, I would have to agree with Tom Holland there, because sometimes showing too much is detrimental to the effect that you're trying to achieve. Okay. The film's writing credits are odd and misleading. Author Edward Levy, who I read his eventual book called The Beast Within, sold off the screen rights to the title The Beast Within, but he found himself with a case of writer's block amidst the publisher's deadline for the book. The producers presented the title to screenwriter Tom Holland, who created an original story for his screenplay. With the movie pushing into production, Levy quickly composed a novelization of Holland's script, though Holland received no story credit for the book. And I bet Holland was kind of pissed off at that. I didn't know that either. Along with Joe Dante's The Howling from 1981, this film pioneered the trend of air bladder special effects makeup. For Michael's transformation scene, small plastic sacks, often condoms or balloons, would be embedded into the layers of makeup and face castings. Later, while filming these, sacks would be inflated through tubes, and it would help to give the appearance of the skin's distortion. The same technique became popular in the genre throughout the 1980s, being used in such horror films as Demons from 1985, Fright Night, also from 1985, and Evil Dead 2 from 1987. The interior and exterior of the power plant were actually the same location. These scenes had to be dubbed because there were roaring turbine engines running, which were so deafening that the cast and crew had to stuff their ears with cotton. Actor Ronnie Cox, who plays Eli McCreary, Michael's dad, also wrote and performed the country music featured in the film. And there's quite a bit of country music in the film as well. The film is a hybrid of a possession and monster movie, according to Tom Holland, and I could see that as well. Writer and eventual director Tom Holland was still acting during the time he had written the script for this film and eventually Psycho 2 a few years later, after he'd given up acting to write full time. Paul Clemens, I didn't know this either. Paul Clemens is double jointed. So he was able to contort his hands in ways that appeared unnatural. Paul Clemens also kept the jacket that he wears throughout the film. He eventually loaned it to an actress he was dating who wanted to use it for a photo shoot. And she made the mistake of having it dry cleaned. The fake leather sleeves melted, and unfortunately the jacket was destroyed. And I always thought that was a really cool jacket too. You can see the jacket there in that shot back there. And that is not actually a shot from the movie. That must be a promotional shot. And I think this might have been the actual picture that I had Paul Clemens sign when I met him at Horror Hound. Writer Tom Holland had written the transformation scene for Michael to completely shed his skin, just like a real cicada. An insect like cicada head, as he sheds his skin. His face eventually falls off and it splits in half. As the script originally intended, Holland considers it a little laughable now due to the airbag effects used in the sequence. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I always thought that the transformation scene in The Beast Within, that final transformation scene where he finally, completely supposedly turns into the cicada. This was a feature film debut for horror genre regular Tom Holland, who wrote the script. This was the final feature-length score for composer Les Baxter, who considers this to be one of his finest. Tom Holland wrote the script, which was completely original, with the assistance of producer Harvey Bernhard, who had bought the rights for the novel by Edward I. Levy. Levy was preoccupied with a pending divorce that prevented him from actually writing his novel, and Bernhard's solution was for Holland to write the script featuring a transformation scene turning into the Beast. The film was released towards the very end of the horror transformation period of horror films that finally culminated with John Carpenter's The Thing. The other films included An American Werewolf in London and The Howling, which caused the creation of a special Oscar category for visual effects. And I think that was probably long overdue, even at that point. This film became a staple on Joe Bob Briggs' Monster Vision series, though the network would heavily edit the film. And I can attest to this showing a bunch on Monster Vision. And in fact, the first Joe Bob anything that I saw, I didn't even know who Joe Bob was. And in my during my short stint at college, I was home for the weekend and was channel surfing one night and came across Monster Vision. I didn't know what Monster Vision was. I didn't know who Joe Bob Briggs was. But I came across this. I was like, who's this guy? This tall, lanky guy with a cowboy hat and the Western clothes. And he was talking about the Beast Within, and he seemed entertaining. And I stopped. And I had seen the Beast Within before, but I'd never heard anybody talk about this film in the way that Joe Bob Briggs did. And I became an instant fan of Joe Bob Briggs from there on out. There's my little side story I can tell. Star Paul Clemens was very enthusiastic about having the role of Michael McCleary because he was an avid fan of the horror genre. Clemens would even enjoy the extensive makeup work that would take hours to apply to him. And not a lot of people can say that, folks. A lot of people say, no, I hated having all that makeup put on me. And then you have to go through the process of having it taken off. And most people say they just feel like just tearing it off. In fact, some people do. So it's very rare when you find someone like Paul Clemens who actually enjoys every aspect of the horror films. And also, if you've never got a chance to meet Paul Clemens and you come upon a chance to meet him, definitely meet this guy. He is so nice, so sweet and nice, and very receptive to his fans and stuff like that, and fans of horror. I guess because at heart, he's a horror fan too. The movie had a warning attached that theaters would have vomit bags at all seats. The film's French title is Les Entrailles d'Enfer, which translates to the entrails of hell. I don't know why it's called that in English, but that is the French title for this film. One shoot at an abandoned hospital fell on Friday the 13th. The crew became convinced the location was haunted as throughout the evening the lights in the elevator turned on and off by themselves. Writer Tom Holland jokingly stated that the Michael cicada monster looked more like an alien than a cicada creature. It did kind of sort of look like an alien. When Michael is lurking and stalking the members of the Kerwin family one by one, a buzzing noise emphasizing the cicada is heard in the soundtrack, and you can definitely hear that. Director Philippe Mora once referred to this film as an encyclopedia of horror movies. The movie was filmed in 1980. The attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan by John Hinckley Jr. occurred during the filming of the big transformation sequence, which was shot over the course of 4 days. And the last bit of trivia I've got for you guys and gals is the translation into English of the German title is The Angel Face, 3 Nights of Horror. And I really don't understand that one, but apparently that's what the English translation is of the German title for The Beast Within. So I guess that is all from me. I'm sorry I didn't have more goofs. I tried to look up some more and was not able to find any. But I want to thank those of you that popped in to see what good old Dana was talking about tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for They're All Messed Up. And we're talking about a couple more horror films and the kills in them. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Get out there, blast some Aussie folks, and try your best to live the Aussie way. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, please, guys, gals, don't stay stuck in the past. Stick to the present, move forward into the future, and never, ever give up on your dreams. You guys and gals have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday night, folks. We're getting ever closer to the weekend, and I'm going to get to see the long walk this weekend and hopefully do another Highway to Hell, and then I'll have 3 under my belt that I've got to get off my lazy duff and put out there for you guys and gals. But I love each and every one of you out there, and I'll see everybody next time.